This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5, a teenager is dead, the latest victim of violence in the Circle City. New overnight, what police say about the search for a suspect.
Plus, the father of a man killed in Indiana still searching for his son's killer. This morning, the message this grieving father wants you to hear. And one woman's incredible health journey with an extremely rare disease. How she went from living the life of a healthy mom to a lengthy hospital stay. We'll have that story coming up. But first, it is 5 o'clock on your Tuesday morning. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Meredith Barrett.
And I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen with us this morning to talk about our forecast. And Todd, I may have been off yesterday, but I heard you say get outside because it was one of our last nice days. And I did.
Yeah, it was. You know, the temperatures were fine. Got a little cloudy towards the end of the day, and that was a sign of things to come for today.
Right.
So today's a quiet day for us. It's not a bad day. It's just not going to feature a ton in the way of sunshine throughout the day today. But temperatures, as you walk out the door on this Tuesday morning, not bad at all. We're sitting in the 50s in most locations. A few 40s there off towards the east, but 53 in Lafayette, Greencastle, 54 degrees, 55 in Bloomington, and 54 here in Indianapolis. So you need the light jacket, but you probably don't need the heavier one this morning. Now, as far as the clouds go, they're firmly in place this morning across most of central Indiana. There could be a few peaks of sunshine early on once the sun comes up a little after 8 o'clock, but we're not going to see a lot in the way of sun today. But thankfully, we avoided this rain and snow that's making its way through the Chicago area this morning. However, a lot of rainfall is heading our way in the coming days. So while there won't be a ton of sunshine throughout the day today, we don't have any rain entering the forecast until probably after sunset. But with the clouds, temperatures don't do a whole lot. We get up into the mid to upper 50s here for your afternoon highs. Then we just kind of stay there throughout much of the evening. We'll talk more about the rain chances ahead coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Want to take a look at some drive times over here on the west side as you're traveling eastbound along I-74 from State Road 267 to the I-465 ramps. It is a 7-minute drive, so everything there is traveling smoothly. We'll continue to keep a close eye out for any issues on the west side, and we'll keep you updated. But for now, let's travel up to the north side. Here's a live look at I-465 and Michigan Road. You can see the interstate there is traveling up to speed, as well as Michigan Road. We'll keep an eye out for any crashes in this area, and we'll keep you updated throughout the morning.
We are following breaking news from the city's northwest side. That's where police are investigating a shooting. The call came in around 3:30 to Linfield Court. That's near 46th and High School Road. When officers arrived on scene, they found a man shot in the back. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition. There's no word this morning on what led up to the gunfire. We are also following a teen's death, and police are now calling it a homicide after he was shot and killed on the city's northeast side. Officers were called to the 9400 block of Stauffer Court around 9 last night. When they arrived, they found a 17-year-old with an apparent gunshot wound. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Police have not released many details about the investigation, but are asking anyone who may have information on what happened on Stauffer Court to call Crime Stoppers.
Time right now, 5:03. Community members are coming together to remember Gregory Wilson Jr. He was shot and killed back on October of 2015 on the north side of Indianapolis. A prayer vigil was held right near where that shooting took place. His father, Gregory Wilson Sr., says that he has these vigils not only for his son, but for all of the people who have been killed and their cases have not been solved.
We just need some cases closed so that families can get closure.
Well, Gregory, along with several others at the vigil, believe that someone out there has information that could help police close that case. IMPD says that they want people to know if they submit tips anonymously, they have no reason to fear for their safety because that tip will stay anonymous.
A gag order is now in effect in a central Indiana case that has attracted international attention. Michael and Christine Barnett are accused of abandoning their daughter in Lafayette a few years after adopting her from the Ukraine. The Barnetts claim the girl was really an adult pretending to be a child. Prosecutors are worried it will be hard to find an unbiased jury if allegations continue to be made publicly.
New this morning, a woman charged in the death of a Terre Haute police officer has taken a plea deal. LaChrista Julian entered a guilty plea to a felony charge of obstruction of justice. The Vigo County prosecutor claims that Julian lied to officers about her boyfriend being armed at the time that Officer Rob Pitts was killed. Pitts was among among the officers looking for Christopher Wolf. Investigators believe that Wolf also murdered his roommate that same day. Wolf exchanged gunfire with police, killing Officer Pitts. Wolf was also killed in the exchange of gunfire. Julian is scheduled for sentencing on November 18th.
New developments this morning in a fraudulent driveway paving operation that was uncovered by Call 6 Investigates. Santino Gilk of Awesome Asphalt was scheduled to appear in court on Monday to plead guilty to at least one of the charges against him. Gilk is charged with corrupt business influence, theft, and home improvement fraud. He failed to show up, and now a warrant is out for his arrest. Gilk's home detention screen turned up positive for a cocktail of drugs, including morphine, codeine, heroin, and fentanyl. Gilk's business partner, Natalie Davis, was sentenced earlier this month to 6 months in jail and paid the victims $7,500 in restitution.
RTV6 is learning more about how Indigo plans to make medians along the Red Line stronger after we found them ripped up and damaged in Broad Ripple over the weekend. Local business owners say that drivers flat out ignore the median while driving along College Avenue, and it got us wondering about the cost of each section of median barrier and how many have been replaced. Indigo tells RTV6 the medians are under warranty. The construction contractor has been replacing them at their cost, so it hasn't been costing taxpayers a thing. Indigo says, however, it wants to make the medians more durable.
Routine office work at the Knox County Courthouse in Vincennes has led to a rare and historically significant find. County Clerk David Shelton says he cleaned out about 120,000 documents before coming across a beaten-up box stashed underneath some obsolete computer equipment. The box held documents from the early 1800s when Indiana was still just a territory. Some of the paperwork was from the Polly Strong case. Strong was born into slavery in 1796. Indiana was formed in 1816 as a free state, and the road to freedom was not easy for Strong.
The ones from 1879 to about 1950, I have not gone through individually to sort through and see what there is. So there's still a chance we may find something else significant that had been misfiled and misplaced over the years. So.
Strong took her case all the way to the Indiana Supreme Court. The case led to freedom for her and all slaves across the Hoosier state.
At 5:07, it's been almost a century since hemp was farmed on a large scale here in Indiana. But the legalization of hemp has caused researchers to realize how little we know about the plant. Purdue is working to change that. Scientists there are using the first USDA grant to study organic hemp production. Nearly $1 million is going towards researching hemp crop rotation, soil conservation, timing, planting, and other factors that go into growing a successful crop. There's no legal pesticide for hemp either, so this is all about finding organic options to produce the healthiest crops. Well, a rare disorder nearly took the life of a young mother earlier this year.
Now her family is telling her story as a reminder to get to the doctor when something just doesn't feel right. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with their story. Kelsey.
Good morning. Yeah, so Sierra Henderson has been inside this hospital for more than 10 days, and just this weekend she was finally moved out of the ICU after being on a ventilator that entire time. So what started out as tingling in her feet and a bad taste in her mouth turned into something much worse after 2 doctors missed the signs of a rare condition. It wasn't until Henderson saw a neurologist that the severity of her symptoms were realized. She had Guillain-Barré, a disorder that causes your immune system to attack your nerves and eventually paralyzes your entire body. The condition is treatable, and Henderson's brother says his sister is getting stronger every single day.
And each treatment she does, she gets a lot better after each one, and it seems like a different part of her body is working again. So they're done doing it now. They just did the 5th one, and that was the point where they actually stood her up. So that was, she couldn't quite stand on her own, but at that point it was you know, like she's going to make it through this.
Sierra's brother tells me that they didn't think that she'd be able to walk, talk, or anything like that after coming out off the ventilator. But she says the only thing that's left for her to rehab is the walking part. And her family is telling her story this morning as a reminder to us all to listen to our bodies, because if she hadn't listened to her body, the outcome could have been a lot worse. Reporting live in Indianapolis, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
All right, thank you, Kelsey. The time now is 5:09 as you walk out the door. This morning, you notice there's a little bit of a breeze out there. You can see Kelsey's hair blowing in the wind, and temperatures this morning actually not all that bad. We're in the 50s in most locations, and that's where we stay throughout the duration of the morning drive with skies that are going to be mostly cloudy. So there'll be maybe a little bit of sunshine here to start the day. You notice a few breaks in the clouds, but overall, it's a mostly cloudy day for us. The rain and the snow is moving through the Chicago area. That's going to bypass us to the north. The big picture, though, still shows an unsettled weather pattern, storm system out near Denver. That's what's going to start to head our way during the day tomorrow. So today, though, we're into the 60s here in eastern locations where the cooler air starts to come in a little bit quicker. Highs only in the mid-50s from Lafayette over towards Rockville down into the Danville area. And then for tomorrow, the rainfall coverage, it is going to become steady across the area. We'll talk more about the timeline for the rain coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. A massive sinkhole swallows nearly half of a city bus. This morning, the enormous effort to get the bus out of that hole.
Plus, wildfires continue to burn across California this morning. Straight ahead, the latest on a fire near a busy Los Angeles highway and how you can help fire victims.
And a traffic alert for drivers up on the north side of town. Here's a live look at the backup along I-465. This is near Meridian Street. Our view there. You can see it's just a parking lot out there. This is impacting the westbound lanes. We have right lanes closed right now for construction. This is an area we'll keep an eye on throughout the morning. Avoid this spot if you can. We'll keep you updated on the other side of the break. Stick around.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
The battle over e-cigarettes continues this morning. A judge in Utah has overturned a ban on vaping and e-cigarette products. The Salt Lake City judge issued a temporary restraining order Monday against a Utah Department of Health rule. The rule would have, on a temporary emergency basis, banned general tobacco retailers from selling flavored vaping and e-cigarette products. The restraining order was applauded by vape retailers. The health department says the purpose of the rule was to prevent the outbreak of vaping-related lung illnesses.
At 5:14, a rough ride on a Pittsburgh bus Monday morning when a sinkhole opened up, swallowing half of that bus. Luckily, only 2 people on board, and they both made it off okay. The lone passenger was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Another car narrowly missing, diving right into that hole. A crane had to be brought in to remove the bus. The street could be closed for several weeks.
A celebration of new life turns deadly. Police in Iowa say a gender reveal party led to an explosion, killing a woman. The 56-year-old got hit by a flying piece of debris. Police did not say what type of gender reveal caused the explosion. But this isn't the first time a party like this has gone horribly wrong. In 2017, a gender reveal in Arizona sparked a wildfire that burned nearly 47,000 acres.
A new fire in Southern California is already causing destruction. The Getty fire here is now burning in Los Angeles, and this video shows the flames moving dangerously close to the busy 405 freeway. That fire has already destroyed 8 homes and threatens more than a dozen others. At this hour, thousands of people are under evacuation orders, including LeBron James. LA Mayor Eric Garcetti says that arson investigation is already underway to determine the cause of this fire.
So there's an active arson investigation. I would also say to the public, when you hear arson, that sounds like somebody has said it. Arson investigations are just the cause of the fire. That doesn't necessarily mean somebody has said it. Something can set that as well.
Well, the fire has also forced evacuations of Mount St. Mary's University. Students there being told in the middle of the night to leave their residence halls. And while families in California scramble to find shelter, there are some ways that you can help at home. The Kincaid Fire Emergency Relief and Recovery Fund is meant to help victims both short and long term when they're able to return home. The Sonoma County's Resilience Fund will help pay for things like mental health treatment and housing. The Red Cross has also opened up several shelters, and the Salvation Army is providing meals.
The Colorado Rockies and Denver metro area are preparing for another round of snow this morning. The area is still digging out from 7 inches of snow that fell during a storm Sunday night. Now meteorologists say up to a foot of fresh snow could fall throughout the day today. Once the snow stops, ghouls and goblins in Colorado can expect temperatures in the teens for Halloween. And Todd, here at home, we don't have that ideal of a forecast for our Halloween either. either.
Yeah, you know, we're going to be dealing with a lot of wind on Halloween, falling temperatures. The rain at this point may come to an end by the time we get to trick-or-treating. That is not really going to make for pleasant things. Even though the rain ends, we're still going to have wind gusts maybe up to 30, 40 miles per hour. So that's down the road. This morning, it's pretty quiet across the area, and really the entire day is a quiet day for us. 54 degrees, just a light wind out of the south-southwest right now at 9 miles per hour. And you notice temperatures not really all that bad this morning. 53 in Greencastle and Martinsville. A little cooler there off towards the east. 45 in Richmond, and Connorsville sitting at 49 degrees. So you may need a light jacket this morning. But as we go throughout the day, the problem is, unlike yesterday when we got into that sunshine right away, those temperatures, they climbed really, really quick. Today with the clouds in place, they're going to only slowly climb up into the upper 50s to maybe a couple of you getting into the low 60s later on this afternoon. But we'll have lots of clouds. But the good news is we should remain dry throughout the course of the day today, with the exception of maybe late this evening, an isolated shower or two could sneak into the forecast. But here's the current situation, and mostly cloudy skies, a few breaks in the clouds. That is just about it. But you notice we just missed out on this rain-snow mixture that's moving through Chicago and crossing Lake Michigan. There's the snow in Denver that they're dealing with, and it's that area of low pressure that's going to eventually start to make its way in our direction as we get into the coming days. So for tomorrow, it's likely going to be a Storm Team 6 alert day for you. You notice the temperatures don't do a whole lot. We only climb up into the low 50s for your highs, and there will be the chance of rain throughout the entire day. So tomorrow's one of those days you have to have the umbrella. You grab it in the morning. The showers are pretty spotty probably in the morning, and then they become heavier and more numerous as we work our way throughout the afternoon and evening hours. So here we are at 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. So just about 24 hours from now, some scattered showers for the morning commute. The showers become more steady throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours. Then we get a little bit of a break, only for the next wave of rain to come in on Halloween morning. Here we are at 5 a.m. and then we continue to deal with periods of rain throughout Halloween. But then once we get into the evening hours, this is 12:30 on Thursday. You notice a lot of the rain is starting to come to an end, but on the backside, as the cold air comes rushing in, we could even see a few snowflakes entering the forecast as we get into the 9 o'clock hour. So we are definitely transitioning to a much colder weather pattern. That high of 51 on Thursday occurs very early in the day. And then look at the low temperature by the time we get to Friday morning, 29 in the city, even colder as we get into some of the outlying areas.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We are monitoring a traffic alert for north side drivers. Take a look down there. You can see stopped traffic. That is the westbound lanes of I-465. The slow area is between about Meridian Street over to Ditch Road. You can see some movement there in a distance. This is all due to some construction happening in the right lanes in that area. Let's take a look right now at our traffic now map, and I'll show you this back up here on the north side. You can see the red there. Again, it starts around Meridian Street, and then once you get past Ditch Road, everything is smooth sailing. So just a heads up as you're traveling westbound on the north side.
Phone scammers are sounding more and more believable. The FBI says $50 million was stolen from Americans in the last year. That's up about $20 million from losses in 2017. However, the number of reported scams only rose by about 1,000. That means victims are losing more cash. One security expert says there's a good rule to keep in mind. If something seems too good to be true or too bad to be true, it probably is.
Well, as we just showed you, wildfires out in California continue to threaten homes. Just after the break, though, the technology helping a woman thank officers for checking on her pets from hundreds of miles away. It's 5:21. We'll be right back.
Down on the farm.
So we mentioned earlier those fires raging across California.
And this morning, those devastating fires are bringing an unusual conversation thanks to a doorbell camera.
Hi, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming by my house.
That's a Kincaid fire evacuee talking with an animal control officer. Joanne Crowley shared the interaction on social media. She says Sonoma County Animal Control checked on her house twice in one day. Crowley says when mandatory evacuations were ordered for her neighborhood, her kids, along with 2 dogs, a rabbit and hamster, left town. She thanked the officer for bringing food and water to her 2 outdoor cats. She said the 2 outdoor cats couldn't be found at the time, so they had to leave them behind. Wow.
So cruel that they're going by and checking checking on everybody. Yeah. Well, a photo is making some rounds on social media lately, and it's warranted a visit from the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. Jake Arsenault's school photo has been shared more than 32,000 times on Facebook. I'm sure you've seen it by now. The fourth grader opted for a hot dog costume for the picture after a dare from his dad. The picture caught the attention of Oscar Mayer, so of course the Wienermobile paid a personal visit to Jake.
It was awesome because the teacher, she went, okay, while laughing. It was really funny. I got very excited.
Well, Oscar Mayer also gave Arsenault an honorary hot dogger du jour certificate and named him Jumbo Frank Jake for the day. Wow. That picture's pretty funny.
And he already has his Halloween costume ready to go,
Done.
It looks like. Yes.
Love that.
Nice and easy.
I saw a joke with the Wienermobile. It slid off the road in a snowstorm. And they said it was trying to catch up to the car in front of it.
Good one, Todd. Catch-up joke.
You know, unlike a good joke at 5:26 in the morning, right? No,
I'd say that's a Kevin,
I hope you laughed at home. I hope you laughed at home.
Keep your day job.
That's
all I'm saying. Don't try to go to a stand-up comedy club tonight.
Didn't go over well. All right, temperatures here this morning are going to hold pretty steady, right in the upper 40s to low 50s. Mostly cloudy skies throughout the morning drive. And honestly, not a whole lot changes throughout the day today. Highs will be in the 50s in most locations. A couple 60s could sneak into eastern locations here, but no rain. That's the good news. Any rain showers would hold off until late tonight, but once they arrive, it turns into a wet stretch of weather starting tomorrow. More on that coming up in the next half hour.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. A Montgomery County grandmother says that her grandson's walk to school is dangerous. Working for you, we're taking her concerns to school officials just ahead here on Good Morning Indiana. Plus,
I was very distraught. I'm a disabled veteran.
Ahead at 6 and only on RTV6, the veteran at war with the very agency he thought was supposed to help him. Our Rafael Sanchez is working for you to get him results and prevent this situation from happening to other Hoosier vets. We'll be right back.
Today at 10 on RTV6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 5:30 on Good Morning Indiana, a teen found shot to death on the northeast side of Indianapolis. What police are telling us so far about their homicide investigation.
And what started out for one woman as tingling feet and a bad taste in her mouth became something much worse. How she went from living a healthy life as a mom to battling a rare disease at the hospital. But first, here at 5:30, we do want to get a check of your forecast.
Yeah, it's kind of going to be just a cloudy, blah day out there, Todd. And this is the day we are making the transition into even worse weather for our Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, you know, I said yesterday, take advantage of Monday. You know, you're right, Meredith. It's just kind of the transition day into a wet stretch of weather we'll deal with tomorrow and into the day on Thursday. So you don't need the umbrella as of yet, even though the skies are going to look kind of gray throughout the entire day today. We're not expecting much in the way of any rainfall. Your outdoor workout is good to go. You probably don't need the sunglasses. Could be a little bit of sunshine here this morning in spots, but the clouds will eventually overtake the clear skies pretty quickly. Still some 40s off towards the east. Otherwise, temperatures are in the 50s. So when you walk out the door, we've been in the 30s for the past few mornings and 40s. So you'll notice the difference, I think, as soon as you take that first step outside. And here are the clouds that are breaking apart a little bit in spots. But the overall trend here is the weather pattern is very unsettled. We have this storm system moving through Chicago. There's another one back off to our west. That's the one that's going to come in here tomorrow. So throughout the day today, not a lot happens. It's just cloudy, and as a result, temperatures don't see that big jump. We'll climb through the 40s and 50s here this morning into the upper 50s later on this afternoon with highs right around 59 degrees. So you don't need the umbrella today. We'll talk about why you do need it tomorrow coming up in just a few minutes. But right now, let's get a look at traffic.
And Todd, we do have a traffic alert for drivers up on the north side of town. Take a look here. It's a parking lot in the westbound lanes of I-465. This is a live look at Meridian Street, and that is the area where we have the slowdown. It's heading all the way over to Ditch Road where we have construction in the right lanes, and that's the reason for this slowdown. So let's take a look at our traffic now map, and I'll show you the worst part. Again, it's right here between Meridian Street. Once you get past Ditch Road, everything is smooth sailing, so just plan ahead, give yourself that extra time, or take a different route if that's part of your normal commute. Let's take a live look right now up at some more construction. This is I-69 at State Road 109. The good news here is you can see traffic is still getting by just fine, both northbound and southbound. We'll continue to keep a close eye on that north side backup this morning and keep you updated.
We are following breaking news from the city's northwest side. That's where police are investigating a shooting. The call came in around 3:30 to Linfield Court. That's near 46th and High School Road. When officers arrived on scene, they found the man shot in the back. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition. There's no word this morning on what led up to the gunfire. Also overnight, police believe a teen's death was the result of a homicide after he was found shot and killed on the northeast side of Indianapolis. IMPD officers were called to the 9400 block of Stauffer Court around 9 last night. When they arrived, they found a 17-year-old suffering from an apparent gunshot wound. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, police have not released many details about the investigation, but they're asking anyone who might have information about the case to call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS.
With record-breaking homicides over the past few years, public safety is one of the top issues on the minds of voters when they head out to the polls next week. Indianapolis currently stands at more than 125 criminal homicides for 2019, but this number is still lower than where we were at a year ago at this time. We spoke to all three Indianapolis mayoral candidates about what they would do about the city's homicides over the next 4 years if elected.
I think what we're seeing now is the ship has finally turned. The investments that we've been making are starting to pay dividends, and I hope we see a continued reduction in crime.
Who knows what's going to happen, but the bottom line is that we need new techniques to accept the challenge of violent crime.
Get to the youth and do more youth outreach. It's been shown time and time again through many studies throughout the country that the more money you put into youth assistance and violence prevention, the less violence you have on down the road.
Indianapolis voters will get to choose one of these three candidates on Election Day, which is set for next Tuesday, November 5th. Stick with RTV6 all week as we ask the candidates about the top issues that matter to you.
A South Bend grandfather is facing criminal charges in the death of his granddaughter. Salvatore Anello is charged with negligent homicide months after accidentally dropping 18-month-old Chloe Wiegand from a cruise ship window. After the charges were announced on Monday, the family's attorney spoke to Good Morning America.
Why are you going to charge him with a misdemeanor when you already know he's been through such a terrible trauma? Everybody on earth agrees this was an accident. Everybody knows there was no intent involved. And so it sort of begs the question, why? I don't know what the answer is. That I have some theories, but unfortunately, it's really just pouring salt on the open wounds of this family.
The family was on board a Royal Caribbean cruise ship docked in Puerto Rico when the tragedy happened in July. Anello is now out on bond. You can hear more from the family's attorney coming up this morning on GMA right here on RTV6 starting at 7 a.m. The South Bend Fraternal Order of Police also released a statement about the charges. Chloe's father, Officer Alan Wiegand, works for the department. The statement said, quote, "The charges filed in Puerto Rico are appalling and do nothing but re-victimize a family who experienced a horrific loss. Based on the facts, it sounds like the negligence in this tragedy came from the cruise ship and not the family," end quote.
A concerned grandmother up in Montgomery County says that the street leading to her grandkids' school is putting lives in danger. Now she's turning to RTV6 hoping for something to be done to make much-needed safety improvements. Bonnie Hendrickson says students crossing the road in the small town of Newmarket has almost ended in tragedy due to speeding cars. The road Hendricks shares with the school is known as 3rd Street in town, but just north of the school, the road becomes County Road 100. She says twice a day, particularly in the morning hours, cars speed past the school on this narrow street. She's asking the school district and the town board to do something to slow down drivers before someone gets hurt.
It's scary. They've gotten almost hit too many times, too many close calls. I don't want them to get hit. I mean, I don't want the teachers to get hit, listen to the teachers scream at the cars to stop. I mean, it's nerve-wracking.
Sean Greiner, the superintendent of South Montgomery Community School Corporation, tells RTV6 the district is working with the town board to enhance student safety. He says as a result of their efforts, crosswalks were recently installed in front of that school.
Homes under renovation here in Indianapolis are being targeted by thieves looking for big-ticket items. Robin Landon flips homes in the Broad Ripple area. She says someone has broken into several of her houses, stealing things like air conditioning units, a stove, furnace, and water heater. The thefts are not only affecting her company's business, but potentially preventing new homeowners from moving in.
We were in the middle of a contract on that one house, and then we have to spend a few weeks wondering whether or not they're going to buy the house, because they need to know that they're going to be safe where they're at. And you can tell them all day long that it's not going to happen if you live here, but that may not be the case. We don't know.
Landon's company has now installed surveillance and alarm systems around the properties.
Time right now is 5:38. A rare disorder nearly took the life of a young mother earlier this month, and that family is telling her story as a reminder to all of us. Listen to our bodies when things just don't seem right. Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning, sharing their story. Kelsey, good morning.
Good morning, Lauren. So Sierra Henderson is a newlywed and a mother of an 18-month-old baby. And a few weeks ago, she went into urgent care and the emergency room with symptoms of foot pain and a bad taste in her mouth to be diagnosed with a sinus infection twice. Little did those doctors know that something was going on that was a lot worse. She's been here at Community North for over 2 weeks now. On a ventilator and now starting the long road to full recovery after being diagnosed with Guillain-Barré, a very rare condition in which the immune system attacks the nerves.
She went in for foot pain and come out with a sinus infection. So that was a little mind-boggling to me.
Her brother Tim Goen tells me he's glad Sierra listened to her body and the very next day went to the emergency room for a second opinion. There, they also diagnosed her with a sinus infection, but did refer her to a neurologist.
When she went to the neurologist, she seen Dr. Ivaturi, and he knew right away what it was. And he, said, send her away to go take some tests, and they found out pretty soon that it was Guillain-Barré.
Guillain-Barré is a rare syndrome some people get after having some sort of infection. According to the Mayo Clinic, weakness and tingling are usually the first symptoms. Then these sensations quickly spread, eventually paralyzing your entire body.
At the beginning, we thought she was going to have to learn how to walk, talk, and everything over again, which, now it seems like maybe the walking part of it is what's left to rehabilitate.
He says his sister gets better with every treatment, but he knows it could have been a lot worse if she hadn't been persistent.
And I would say if you feel any kind of symptom like that, you make sure you get yourself to the hospital, because it could have got a lot worse. She could not be here right now.
Over the weekend, Sierra was moved from the ICU to the progressive care unit, and her family says she has a long road to recovery. They don't know if it'll be a few weeks or even a few years, but they are inspired by her positive attitude. To learn more about Sierra's recovery and you can donate, visit this story on the RTV6 app for a link to her GoFundMe. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. A major manufacturing operation is coming to Westfield, and it's bringing more than 450 jobs with it. Last night, the Westfield City Council approved incentives to pave the way to build a facility for the healthcare company Abbott here in North Point Industrial Park that's located along US 31. A heart valve device will be made at this new plant. Construction is set to start later this year. Now, the company says those new jobs will be added over the next several years. Time right now is 5:41 on our Tuesday. Let's toss things over to Todd.
Yeah, it's a pretty quiet fall day for us here across the area, Lauren, but it's not going to be the brightest day, unfortunately. So if you're heading out to the apple orchard or maybe still going to pick out that pumpkin that you're going to maybe carve on Halloween, we're just looking at mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures today not really going to do much at all. It's not the coldest morning we've seen. We're in the 50s, and that's where we stay really throughout the entire day. In fact, we'll probably hit our high temperatures mid-afternoon, and then we'll start to see them fall off already as we head into the 4 o'clock hour. And just missing out on some rain and snow in the Chicago area this morning, but this storm system doesn't look all that impressive right now near the Denver area, but that is going to be heading our way as we get into the day tomorrow. Not as snow, but as rain here, as our temperatures will be well above freezing. But look at your rain chances already by the morning commute tomorrow, up in that 70% range, and then we basically stay there throughout the entire day. Tomorrow will be a Storm Team 6 alert day. We'll talk more about your Wednesday and your Halloween trick-or-treat forecast coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. The National Security Council's top Ukraine expert is expected to go before House impeachment investigators today. Straight ahead, what he had to say about President Trump's infamous July phone call with Ukraine's president.
Apple is releasing a new generation of AirPods after the break. Details on some of the new features and how much a pair will set you back.
And here's a live look right now at traffic. This is a live look at that backup we've been following on the north side, I-465, US 31 and Meridian Street. It's the westbound lanes that are slow due to construction in the right lanes as you're heading towards Ditch Road, so expect delays here. Avoid this spot if you can. Once you get past Ditch Road, though, everything is smooth sailing. Time right now is 5:43 on your Tuesday. We'll be right back after this short break.
Greenie's Dental Treats.
Welcome back. Today, House impeachment investigators will hear testimony from the National Security Council's top Ukraine expert.
Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman was on the July phone call between President Trump and Ukraine's president. In a copy of his opening remarks obtained by ABC News, Vindman says he did not think it was, quote, proper to demand that a foreign government investigate a U.S. citizen. Vindman reported his concerns to a superior, but the president's supporters maintain there was nothing inappropriate about the call.
The transcript of the president's call with President Zelensky shows that there was no quid pro quo. He did nothing wrong.
This fake impeachment inquiry has been ill-conceived and illegitimate.
Meanwhile, the full House is expected to vote on formalizing the impeachment inquiry Thursday.
It's 5:47. The man accused of launching a deadly attack at the Capital Gazette newspaper in Maryland last year has pleaded guilty. That's according to the Gazette and the Washington Post. 39-year-old Jared Ramos pleaded guilty but not criminally responsible by reason of insanity on Monday. Authorities say Ramos walked into the Capital Gazette newsroom on June 28th and opened fire, killing 5 people and injuring 2 others. The attack happened a few years after Ramos had unsuccessfully sued the newspaper for defamation. His trial is set to begin next month.
Not all heroes walk on 2 legs. A U.S. military dog is credited with helping take down the world's most wanted terrorist. President Trump tweeted this photo of the 4-legged hero who took part in the operation that led to the death of ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. The dog's name is classified, but he is apparently part of the Army Delta Force that executed the raid. A military official says the heroic dog suffered some injuries in the operation, but he is expected to make a full recovery. It is 5:48 right now. Todd, you're checking in on our Tuesday forecast.
Yeah, and your Tuesday forecast isn't a bad forecast. We're just not going to see a lot in the way of sunshine today, but it's quiet. That's the good news. There's plenty of opportunity for you to get out and about and get that outdoor run in or maybe a bike ride here later on this afternoon when it starts to warm up a little bit. And today's your day to do that because rain is going to return tomorrow. It's going to be just one of those days where you're going to be dodging rain off and on throughout the entire day. It's not like Saturday when it's a steady washout of a rain throughout the entire day, but definitely quite a bit of rain around tomorrow. And Halloween is not going to be a treat. We still deal with the rain, but on Halloween we throw in tumbling temperatures and some very, very gusty winds as well. We're in the 50s here this morning. Pair of Nichols in Bloomington and Muncie, 54 in Indianapolis. Kokomo, you're sitting at 53 degrees. So throughout the day today, we're just looking at mostly cloudy skies with the clouds around. You notice the temperatures really don't do a whole lot here throughout the day today. We'll only be in the mid-50s for your afternoon highs with those mostly cloudy skies, and there'll be some sunshine popping through the clouds at times, but overall we're looking at mostly cloudy skies. Now, we just missed out on some rain and snow, thankfully, this morning. That made its way through Wisconsin and into the Chicago area, but that is falling apart, so not expecting any travel delays if you're traveling through Chicago here later on this morning. But the next storm system is in Denver, bringing them more snow. If you're flying to Denver, though, there definitely could be some delays as they're going to be seeing several inches of snow throughout the day today. But for us tomorrow, it's all rain. You notice the red background. That signifies tomorrow's going to be a Storm Team 6 alert day, and temperatures are going to be chilly. We're only going to be in the upper 40s to low 50s throughout the day tomorrow. And some of this rain already comes in by the morning commute tomorrow, although at that point it's still pretty light. It's still pretty spotty, so we're not expecting a lot of rain for your morning drive tomorrow. But then more showers will work their way in throughout the afternoon hours on Wednesday. So Wednesday's evening drive potentially going to be the wetter of the two. And then there's some dry hours tomorrow evening before the next wave of rain comes in throughout the day on Thursday. So this is Halloween. We deal with scattered showers. The difference, though, as I mentioned, throughout the day on Thursday, the wind is really going to start to pick up across the area, and it's going to be a cold northwesterly wind. And as that drives the temperatures down, look at this. Some of the rain showers go over to snow showers. So this is 9 o'clock when trick-or-treating is starting to wrap up. definitely going to need to bundle up as we are going to be seeing temperatures in the 40s probably at that point, but wind chill values will probably be down in the 20s. So rainfall totals tomorrow anywhere from about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch. But then when we tack Thursday on, look how these rainfall totals really start to come up. So these are your 2-day totals heading into Thursday evening, and we're looking most locations probably 3/4 of an inch to maybe 1.5 inches of rain. And here is that trick-or-treating forecast. 45, the rain ends maybe as a few snowflakes, but blustery. That 45 is going to feel more like it is in the 20s. And speaking of the 20s, that's our actual low temperature by the time we get to Friday morning. This is our first big push of cold air. In fact, temperatures will be below freezing probably 3 mornings in a row, Friday, Saturday, and also on Sunday.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. And we're keeping a close eye on traffic as you're heading out the door for your Tuesday. Maybe you're heading out to work or even school early this morning. Here's a look at a backup we've been following for about the past hour. It's on westbound I-465 between Meridian Street and Ditch Road. We have construction blocking the right lanes, and that's causing this westbound backup. Everything is at a standstill right now, but every now and then things will move past here. And once you get past Ditch Road, things are smooth sailing. We'll continue to keep an eye on this and let you know when everything is back open. Okay, so if you have an Apple tech fan, maybe on your holiday shopping list, get ready for a pricey request.
The company is upgrading their AirPod wireless earbuds. The new ones are called AirPod Pro. Along with the new design, they come with upgraded features like noise cancellation technology. The AirPods Pro have a transparency mode that lets users hear music and the world around them at the same time. The upgraded features won't come cheap, however. The new earbuds retail for $249.
I'm always worried I'll lose those, and they're so expensive. All right. Well, from an X-Wing fighter to a dragon, one father is continuing his Halloween tradition to build his son an amazing costume. Still ahead, why this year's creation is extra special. We'll be right back.
Visit your local Chase branch.
A Massachusetts father is continuing a special Halloween tradition to create an epic costume for his son who is in a wheelchair. This year, he's pulling inspiration from his family tree. 15-year-old Tommy has cerebral palsy and loves Halloween. For the past 4 years, his dad uses parts from the garage to build Tommy an amazing costume. And this year, he'll be behind the cockpit piloting an iconic Air Force jet, the SR-71 Blackbird. The jet is also special because it honors Tommy's grandparents who both served in the Air Force. In the past, Tommy has been an X-Wing fighter from Star Wars, rode one of the dragons from Game of Thrones, and last year, he was an officer in a police car.
Wow.
That is so creative.
Yeah, I love that.
I'm now brainstorming what else he can be in the future.
I know.
Maybe
hey,
the
if
captain.
He came rolling up, I'd give him a lot of
How
candy,
about the captain of a boat? Or something like that. Yeah, let's build him a yacht.
An Indy car?
Yeah, Indy car, that's a good one.
Oh, very cool.
All right, love it.
All right, well, if the kids are going out for Halloween, they may want to rethink their costumes if they're not for the cold weather, right, Tom?
Yeah, you're really going to have to bundle up on Halloween. We're probably talking 40s with 30 to 40 mile per hour winds on Halloween night. So not going to be pleasant. This morning, not bad. We're in the mid-50s. Storm Team 6 radar is quiet as we work our way throughout the day today. Mostly cloudy skies. The wind not an issue throughout the day today. We're close to average with that high of 59 degrees. We'll talk more about the rain for tomorrow and the next day coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. Stay with us. We'll be right back.